missions that we have to always look at. All right, let's take a moment and head out to space. This is for our next story. Pretty exciting. The most powerful rocket that's ever been created by SpaceX is set to lift off tomorrow. The video you're looking at is actually from the 11th launch of what's been named Starship. That's the rocket. It's been 7 months since we've seen one of these attempted liftoffs, in part because SpaceX has changed Starship quite a bit. The rocket has gone under a bit of a redesign, we'll call it. Now, this launch is going to be the first time that we see the upgraded Starship rocket.
Let's welcome in former NASA astronaut Dr. Charles Camarda with more on the space mission. Dr. Camarda, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to have you here with us this morning. There is so much to get excited about with the future of spaceflight lately, and we want to start with you telling us a little bit more about how this Starship V3 test flight could mark a major milestone and what you really hope to take away from the mission.
Yeah, as you said, they've made some major changes in only 7 months. The rocket is taller by about 10 feet. It has a lot more thrust capability. They increased the thrust of the Raptor engines by 25%. They did a little bit to optimize the mass of the structure. They could take over 3 times the amount of payload of the Block 2 version. So that's 100 metric tons to low Earth orbit, more than any other rocket. They made major changes to the launch pad. They have a new launch pad so that they'll be able to increase the cadence and get us ready to go to the moon. This rocket is the version that we're going to be looking at, or something very similar, to take us to the moon.
It's exciting, I think, especially in this current era of Artemis. And Dr. Camarda, a lot of people are looking at this through the lens of the Artemis program. We just watched this powerful rocket, the SLS, launch astronauts into space. Comparatively, and to the, I guess, let's talk thrust, Starship is actually much more powerful than SLS, correct? Obviously, we're not putting humans on top of that rocket yet, but from a power standpoint, it's a lot stronger.
From a power standpoint, it's about twice as much thrust as the SLS rocket. The SLS rocket cannot even get to low lunar orbit. It's not able to reach the moon, actually. And so the Starship rocket, when it's refueled in space several times, it needs multiple refuelings to get enough propellant to take the ship to the moon, because it's going to have a very large lander on top of it.
And we mentioned this is the 12th Starship space test. So that being said, what has your team learned over the course of the test? And do you think there are any big challenges that you still have in order to overcome before we can safely send humans on a space trip to Starship?
Absolutely. The most challenging aspect of going back to the moon with this rocket is refueling in orbit, cryogenic propellant in orbit. That's going to be a major accomplishment. Hopefully, we're going to be seeing several attempts in the not too distant future. We have to be able to do that in order to get this ship to the moon. Okay, the next thing, in order to make this fully reusable, the thermal protection system, they've been working very hard on the thermal protection system, trying to make it robust so that you can get this quick turnaround. You lose one of these 17,000 tiles, you could potentially lose an entire vehicle.
I mean, the risks are so high, but oftentimes when you look at rocket science, it is. And I think SpaceX specifically has been more visible where we have seen those attempts. And yeah, do you call them a failure or do you just call them a lesson? Because to get this thing off the ground, you are going to have things that go wrong that don't necessarily end the way that was hoped, but you learn from it. And that's, I think, why this 12th launch is going to be so significant. Dr. Camarda, I wonder, and I don't want to get too in the weeds on this mission, but the fact that Starship is able to return to Earth is remarkable. The SLS rocket doesn't do that, and I hate to keep comparing because I know they're in 2 different fields, but that being reusable is important. However, with this mission, there will be some Starlink satellites that are released on this as part of that, I guess you call it, payload. What's the intention behind that?
Well, the intention is to prove that you can carry the mass that you say you're going to carry to low Earth orbit. And what this will mean is that he will be able to launch into low Earth orbit 3 times as many satellites. So commercially, flying this rocket is a tremendous advance over the previous block version and other commercial carriers. So commercially, being able to return that booster and catch it with the chopsticks, that's what we're going to be looking for on that new pad. He's going to be catching the booster with those chopsticks, and we want to see a nice entry into the Indian or the Pacific Ocean with the orbiter vehicle. We want to make sure that he solved the thermal protection system problem. He can accurately land that vehicle into the ocean and eventually catch it back at Boca Chica, Texas.
There are so many nuances with this. We're looking forward to it. In theory, before we let you go, as far as the frequency of these launches, if everything were to go to plan, what is the goal? How often could we maybe down the road expect these launches?
What you're going to see is hopefully much quicker turnaround. He wants to make sure he solves the thermal protection system problem because he needs to up that cadence. Remember, if you need 12 to 15 launches in order to refuel a depot in low Earth orbit to go to the moon, that's why he has 2 launch pads. And so that turnaround time is what he's relying on. And so the more he launches, the more information he gets, the more robust he can make this vehicle. He needs to up that cadence. He was at about a launch every 3 months. He took 7 months for this. You want to get that cadence down where he will be launching rapidly from Boca Chica or the Cape.
We'll be watching this closely tomorrow. Launch
Hopefully
window
tomorrow.
opening at 5:30 p.m. Central Time. Dr. Charles Camarda, it's been great to have you here, former NASA astronaut and president of the Leading Edge Enterprises. Thank you so much for joining us.
Great. Thanks for having me.